So this week we are back trying to make amends for the pretty big mishap that we made last week on our veranda build. If you missed it, we started by trying to get the steel ledger board up onto the wall of the tiny house, and it was all going so well. We drilled all of our holes, we'd chemically fixed our fittings into the tiny house wall, and we welded all of our brackets for the rafters to the ledger board. But unfortunately, when we returned to fix it to the wall, we discovered that the heat from welding the brackets had made the metal bow. Because the heat from the welds caused the bending in the first place, we tried to fix it by putting that heat on the opposite sides of the brackets in the hope that it would bend back and straighten up. And as you can hopefully see here from this beam, it's worked to a degree, but we are still about an inch or so off being straight.
We probably could tweak it bit by bit with the welds and eventually over time get it straight again, but we've already lost so much time to it, so we're going to put it down to the cost of learning and start afresh with a new beam, but we are going to do it differently this time so we don't make the same mistake twice.
We're putting the holes in this new beam in the exact same position as they were on the bent beam, because if anything is going to stop it going on, it's going to be the threaded rod that we've chem fixed into the wall, because some of them have gone a little bit off. However, you can see I've run a string line from one end to the other, and where most of these threaded rods fall are within the tolerance of the size of the hole in the beam. So in theory, we shouldn't have any issues, but experience is telling me we probably will. We were busy this morning, so I'm starting this at literally the hottest point of the day, and it is scorchio. So yeah, I've set myself up in the shade. I'm gonna get drilling all these holes, and then first thing in the morning, Victoria and I are gonna get this beam on. And I say that with confidence, we're getting it on. The beam, that is. Yeah, it's not that type of video. Victoria just said to me that if this doesn't go up and on, she's walking off the job site.
I did, and I stand by my words.
Come on, it's going on. Got it? Okay.
Doing some exercises to get my arms pumped for this.
So if we go up onto here first.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Up onto the brick. And as close to the thread as we can, I guess.
1, 2, 3. Right.
Okay.
I'm a shade low.
Yeah, I'm ever so slightly low as well, probably by about 10 mil. Right, so that one's on.
So one down.
See, okay, so we can go much closer.
Yeah.
So your end one is the next closest one. So if you can get that on.
Okay, it's on by a tip.
Okay, so we can go further on then, because we're not close to going into anything else yet. We're about 50% on. We've got 6 out of 12 that are lined up pretty easily. There's a few that are maybe about 1 or 2 mil, and there's one that's a little bit worse. So time to crack out the hammer, give it a thud, persuade it in. Oh, so close.
the sound. We're on. Well, we've got 11 of the 12 on, so I don't need to storm off the job site just yet. We do need to make one of the holes a bit bigger because no amount of Ricky tapping away with the hammer is negotiating and persuading that one to go through. You're just marking the worst offender.
Yeah, it's just a bit awkward because the angle of it is too extreme, so I need to push this end that way, but round the back it's already at the opposite end of the hole, so we'll make this a bit bigger and it'll go on.
Tell me the bad news though. This isn't staying up, is it?
Yeah, we've got to take it back down to do that. I mean, it's not the end of the world because it means I can put the brackets on in the shade and drill those holes. It means we can prime it and paint it before it goes up. So the good news is we can get it on. We know we can get it on.
Absolutely. That's the bit I'm focusing on.
Before we take the beam back down again, we're just going to measure and have a bit of a sanity check for our rafter size, just to make sure we're happy with the size of the overhang and everything's going to come together how we want it to, because I'm going to get them cut later this afternoon. So 350s to here.
Oh, it seems so small.
Well, I think we originally said 380. Okay?
Yeah.
Cut it off. Ready? Yeah. Whew. Perfect. This week's video is brought to you by Squarespace. So I worked in online marketing for a number of years, so I've used pretty much every service there is to build a website. And for me personally, Squarespace is the ultimate website building platform because they just have everything under one roof. You can build an incredible looking website. It's packed full of really advanced features, but most importantly, it's super easy to use. So to get started, you can choose from one of their many award-winning designer templates. It's then really easy to add new pages and content to your site by just selecting one of their pre-built layouts. But you can also build something really unique with Squarespace's Design Intelligence feature. It will just ask you a few questions about your brand or your project and then use its AI to build you something bespoke. And you can also get yourself the perfect professional web address that will make your website stand out with Squarespace domains. So if you've got an idea for a business or a project, why not give Squarespace a go with a free trial? Just go to squarespace.com/lifebyliving. And when you're ready to launch your site, use our code LIFEBYLIVING to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. We both get worried so easily about fire here, so we are super vigilant. And even though today is categorized by the IMPA, which is the kind of, I don't know if they're a body or organization that kind of categorizes the fire safety level for the day, what tools you can use, etc. Even though they've classed it as it's okay to use tools on this day, Victoria and I do not like to take risks. So I would rather not be using an angle grinder at all to cut the stuff, but we have to. So we're just wetting everything down in the vicinity because an extra 5 minutes for us to wet stuff down is just well worth it for the peace of mind it's going to bring us.
I can give it a bit more wetting down as well with a shake of my head. Absolutely dripping already. These rafters that Ricky's cut are absolutely scorching hot at the minute. I need to prime them, and I'd planned to do that as he was cutting the rest of them, but realistically I'm going to have to cool them down. Obviously the shade helps, but I think I might also chuck on a little bit of water to help the process speed up a bit. Reach! Oh no. Damn, it won't reach. Watering can it is.
I'm just using my square here and lining it up with the right angle of the roof. On this side, it's got the degrees marked out, and that way we can cut the rafter at the right angle, so where it meets the wall, instead of it being a butt end like that, obviously on the angle and having a big gap here, I'm cutting it like this so we can get the nice angle of the rafter, and then it can come up flat against the wall. It's going to mean there's not really a gap behind. Also, because we're fitting brackets on the side, it gives kind of more meat for the bracket to fit, and more space where the bolt is going to go through and the edge of the tube. So it'll look nicer, and function wise is better.
Jumped the gun and forgot a very important step. We need to clean down the metal to degrease and get off all the debris and gubbins, including a bit of target practice that some kind bird has performed on the metal. So just using some vinegar to get all of that done, and then that'll help the primer and subsequently the paint adhere to the metal much better. Ricky bought the rollers for priming and painting the metal, and I don't know if he's pulling my leg or not. This is what we're working with. Look at the size of that versus that. Okay, I admit that is quite a nice fit on the width. However, I've got all of this to do, plus all of the pillars and ledger board and beam as well. Now, he promises me that it is absolutely the most suitable size. However, I have downloaded the audiobook of War and Peace to listen to, so we'll see if I finish the priming or the audiobook first.
Having to drill through metal in the blazing sunshine is brutal. It's not a quick job working with steel, I've got to say. I'm sure many of you are aware, but I have to keep reminding myself that I've only got to do this once, and then once it's up, this thing is going to last forever, hopefully, as long as it's cared for. So I've marked out everywhere where each of our rafters is going to go, and then similar to what I did with the previous ledger board, screwing in the brackets to hold the rafters, but I've been being extra cautious and putting on 2 brackets that end, then heading up to this end, putting 2 brackets there, and then back and forth, because drilling for each of these and then putting in the self-tapping screws is obviously creating heat. I don't know if it's going to cause any bending like the welding did, but I'm taking every precaution. And once I've got all of these brackets on, the next step is not going to be welding. We are not doing any more welding on this because, one, it's super hot and I don't want to, and also I just don't want to risk it again after last week's palaver. So as soon as I've got the brackets on, I'm going to be drilling through and bolting everything, and then it will be ready to be primed, painted, and hopefully return back on the wall with no issues. I'm over here in the sunshine, working hard to make life better for our little family on this farm. And here I got this pair of freeloaders who are just cutting me the dirtiest looks every time the drill makes a noise, just because I'm disturbing their 11th hour of sleep today. My apologies, Your Majesties. Haven't heard a peep from you in a while. You doing okay?
I can just about hear you. Oh, I'm in the zone. I'm nearly there.
This white is giving me real beach house vibes.
Just missing the lapping shore.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually quite like the white, but I think on the building it wouldn't look quite right. I mean, we are going very different to this for the finished paint. Are you close to wrapping up?
I am.
Okay.
I'm really over this.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be working till there's no more light. Well, my plan for staying out until the sun goes down might be cut a bit short, because all of a sudden the sky's gone black. We've got roaring thunder. Maybe it's going to rain. I hope not, because all the stuff Victoria's just primed is out. And it's starting to rain. Hopefully it's going to pass quickly. Good morning. It is an exciting day today, because finally the day has come that we're going to see the veranda roof structure come together. We came out yesterday and got everything prepared. So we cleaned down the columns and the beam that are already there, and we had to do a very thorough job on that, because the little birds have loved using it as a perch and they have pooped all over it. So we had to give it a really deep clean, rinse it all off and dry it all off. We then primed it all with the white primer, and it is so much more difficult having to paint everything there in situ, with having to do things upside down and around the brackets. But that's what we're going to have to do for the finished paint job anyway, so better get used to it. I finished off all of the bolts for all of the brackets during the thunderstorm. And then Victoria came out yesterday afternoon and primed all of this ready to go back on the wall. And just a little preemptive comment. If some of you are thinking, my God, Ricky looks rough today. Well, it's not because I'm super tired or I had a bad night's sleep or I don't feel well. Basically, when we were out yesterday doing that work, I got bitten, got absolutely ravaged by bugs, and something has had an effect with me, and it made my eyes puff up like crazy. I had some like small sac type thing here, like a really isolated thing, but yeah, it basically put me to sleep as well. So I don't know what it was, but thankfully I've woken up this morning, I feel much better, but the puffy eyes are taking a little while to go back down. So hopefully whatever that nasty little creepy crawly was, it's not going to get me again today.
We're doing a serious bit of manifesting that this is just going to go on and it's going to be plain sailing. Keep your fingers crossed.
So that's well clear. That one's in. Did you see in that one?
I didn't.
That's the troublesome one. That's got loads of room.
Ooh.
There we go. Well, that was a lot easier second time round.
Thank goodness for that. It actually feels like a major accomplishment just to get this up and on the threaded rod. I know we've still got a long way to go to actually have a working veranda, but whew, breathe a sigh of relief.
We're using lock-in nuts on this, so they basically have like a little rubber, I don't know if you'd call it a washer or a grommet or something inside. So as you tighten it up, it locks into the thread and it can't like loosen off and come back, which is great for this, but you can't finger tighten anything, so the second it hits that bit of rubber, you've got to do everything with a spanner. So a bit more time consuming, but hopefully it means no rattles in the future.
I do not want to be laying in bed on a windy night worrying that the roof's gonna fly away.
And we live in a very windy place. What's that? Poo. Oh, Trump. Sorry, fart.
No. It seems that wasps are making nests everywhere and anywhere they can at the moment, and they are not welcome in our veranda structure, which is where these things come in. They're just little plastic end caps, but they'll be painted so they match the metal and they will look the part. We need to get them on now though, because once those rafters are up against the wall, there's no way we're accessing round the back of them. Yep.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Bit more to you. I'm underneath the ledger.
Okay. I need to go across. Put it up on the ledger.
Okay.
Into the first one?
Into it. Yeah. I'm tight to the wall.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Needs to go down a bit. Down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, no clamps needed.
No. Alright.
Got it?
Yeah.
Let me move this way just so.
I'll just stay here then. See in the position you've left me. Oh, a bit closer to the wall, please. No. Halfway with the rafters, and already it's feeling so different under here, even without any of the tiles on. Just admiring the handiwork.
I just think it feels big. Like I say, even without anything on, it feels like a room already. I wish we did have some tiles on now though, because the sun is so hot. Could do with a bit of shade. Got it?
Yeah.
I need to, because there any more room. There we go.
Do you?
Got it?
Yeah. To me.
Let me get it over my head.
Yeah. I'm going nowhere.
I'm so glad that we put these brackets on before doing this, because they're just holding it in place. We're not having to faff about with clamps or anything, just Easy peasy.
I don't want to chance our luck, but so far it has been, as Ricky says, easy peasy. But
Why'd you have to jinx it?
so as you can see, we are missing a rafter, and that's because we had to sacrifice it to use for our new ledger board.
Hopefully, we're going to have a new one coming on Monday, but it's not guaranteed. So if it can't come, we're going to repurpose the old bent ledger, and hopefully that'll work.
It almost feels surreal that we've now got it up. After all the false starts and hiccups we've had, at last the hard bit is done. I'm sorry, did you just say that's not completely true?
No, because...
Back it up a minute. What are we doing here?
We've still got... we still need to put bolts through all the rafters. We still need to put brackets on this end, screw them in, bolts through there, sort this rafter out, tile battens on, tiles, oh, and paint it all.
So what I'm hearing is that like half a day and we'll be done.
All right, Supergirl, you crack on.